So last time I left it with the remainder of the chassis leg in here, and I was gonna sort of, well, I did fill it all with hydrate 80 as best I could, and then I was gonna drill that, bosh it together with a spot weld there, cut the rot out there, let a new piece in, and then put the inner sill on. I'm glad I didn't, because it turns out that I did cut it out. I sort of thought, well, in for a penny. So there's the bit that I'd hydrate 80'd, and I tried to tosh a load in, but of course you couldn't get anywhere near that far in. So I'm glad I chopped the whole panel out, because that was always going to hold rot behind here. Access in there is, I mean, it's not great. So I employed the old plasma cutter on a very low setting, just to cut across the top of that, hack that out, and indeed do a not very straight line, but plasma cut that bit of the chassis leg off, because I wanted a relatively straight line across there, and I didn't really want to start hacking more into this. You can actually see where the plasma cutter's just burnt through in a couple of places. And that's where I drilled the spot weld out, but that'll all fill, that's not a problem, because I'm going to have to remake that and this bit. So with the rot out of that now, I am going to tosh a dickload more hydrate 80 over the back of this, and all the way around. Treat the whole thing, let that go off, and then whilst that's going off, I can start fabricating a repair panel for here and the inner sill. And although I'm not overly bothered about, entirely recreating this, because it doesn't do a lot and it will be doing even less in a minute, but I do want to fill that void and at least have a step across here that I can weld the leg to. So that is the current plan. Part 2 of about 9 million in, you'll see where I have added the jacking point to the actual inner sill, which it wasn't, but it replicates that that was on the original mount that the Chevronix ones don't have. Like sort of yonder, you can see where it sits there, which is nice. The weld is, so I've probably ground it down more than I needed to be honest, but once it's got some red oxide on it, but I mean that is, I'm moving the whole ramp rather than the car, so it's nice to have a bit of structure back in it. I've got to get this curve slightly better, because although that looks like a flat plate, this panel does actually have a very gentle curve in it, so I'm getting there with it happily, because I can see where the original spot welds were. I'm working it gently. It might be a bit overlong in this corner, I can't actually remember how they go, and of course it was rotted away both sides, so I'll make that fit with the sill. There's something really satisfying about painting freshly welded shit, because oh, it looks good. It's getting quite dark now, but I have done both sides and right up in, I mean, you're not going to see any of this, but anyway, I have painted the shit out of it everywhere. I've got to seam seal up in here, in that corner, after I've put this panel back in, and before I put that panel back on. I have trial fitted it all. It fits where it touches. It's all fine. What I've actually done, being a knob, is put too much of a curve in this now, and rather than dick about, and the reason I've done that I don't actually know what I've done with that panel, but this panel here, of course, when I drilled the spots out, it's really hard to get the drill into it because the panel comes back. So I actually bent it round and I knocked it out of shape. And I sort of straightened it up, but clearly I didn't actually straighten it up properly. So the next thing to do, but it won't be today because I can't really see anymore, is to cut the rest of that leg off and then fabricate a new piece of leg right up to the front. I've got the old bit somewhere. I don't know what I've done with that actually, but oh yeah, I think there's a, no, that's not it. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, well, yeah, somewhere there's that piece I chopped out. So I'm going to weld the new bit in. I think it's maybe 1.5 mil original, don't know, but anyway, it's going 2 mil. And then once I've seen welded it to this, right the way down, then I can install my jig, or, you know, an old subframe, bang the holes in the new bit of leg, misses, and then fit this bad boy. What I'm going to do, given that I know that bit's going to be flat, and you know the bottom of the leg is going to be flat and where it should be, so I will weld this to the leg, and then that will tell me where this needs to be. But it's in free air, so I can move it. I mean, it's quite hefty steel, so it's going to need a bit of it might require a bit of a sledgehammer, but anyway, you know, that's life, who cares. So yeah, I will get that where it wants to be and then weld that to the back side of this, and then when I know that that is exactly where it should be, then I can put this panel back in, and then put that panel back on, and then this bit and that bit and yada yada yada, and then repeat the entire process on the other side of the car. Of course, never leave your beer under where you're painting, because however good Bonder primer is in beer, it doesn't taste very nice. But anyway, so really slow progress today, mostly because I didn't get it all sort of mid-afternoon. Well, just gone one actually, because the World at One was on. Lovely. Absolutely chucking down with rain. I suppose it makes a change from being boiling hot, but anyway, it's been quite pleasant to work in, at least. It's not, I didn't actually record doing any of this particularly, mostly because the phone that I use is an old Samsung for recording weldy stuff and sparks and stuff, because I don't really care if it gets damaged. And I left it at home, and I don't really want to damage my Huawei thing because I quite like it, so I didn't really record anything much. I did take some photos. I'll probably stick them in, but anyway, I'm waffling. I'm going. Okay, cheers. Since that last bit of vid, which was yesterday, I think. Oh, it wasn't, day before yesterday. I have quit smoking again for the 50 millionth time. So I'm back on the vape. So there might be even more swearing than usual, because I really like smoking, but anyway, it doesn't like me. So, new bit of chassis leg. I have not put any holes in it yet because I don't know where they need to go. Also, this needs a little bit more shaping. This is quite thick. Yeah, unfortunately, so this is what happens when you quit smoking. You end up hacking your fucking arm open, which was annoying. But there we go. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to open that out a bit more, and then finger sand all around here, and then tosh everything over with Hydrate 80. I'll probably Bonder prime the back of this, because there's bits of it. Yeah. I need to bang some holes in it as well, so I can spot weld it to the support bracket thing there. Again, I'm not entirely sure I actually need to, given how thick all this is, but you know, you can never go too mad, can you? I swear to God, this stuff is the work of Satan, and even with a mask on, God, does it get in your lungs? But it's like, I mean, honestly, it's 1/4 inch thick in places down here, which is great. But trying to get rid of it, especially on all these little curves, oh man, it's a nightmare. I've been under there, and it's the same situation all the way under here. It's just covered in this rubberized crap. I mean, I say that, but the car's lasted pretty well with said rubberized crap on. But of course, when it does rot, you can't really see it, because rubberized crap just remains in shape, so you think all is well, and it isn't. All the steel that I'm getting to is really good under here, so part of me thinks, should I just clean this up, key it and paint it? And the other part of me thinks, well, there's corrosion here, this bit's completely gone, and the more you chip away at that, the further the corrosion goes, so it's probably going to end up being quite a large patch. And if I don't, and I know there's corrosion back here, but if I don't take it all off, you never really know, do you? And therefore, although this is taking hours and probably ruining my lungs even more than I've managed, it's the only way to do it, isn't it, really? Just take the whole thing back to bare metal and start again. I haven't put the return lip on the front edge of this, so it should have a return lip here. I haven't done that for a reason, mainly because trying to fold this stuff is a bloody nightmare because it's thick. But also, I'm actually just going to seam weld the whole thing along here, and then actually add the return lip afterwards, because I want the return lip to meet the front edge of this. So I'll actually weld it into the front edge of that, because reasons. And it'll also get spot welded. Spot welded? It won't be a spot weld, but it'll be a plug weld. But, you know, I can plug weld it through the hole that I drilled to cut the original return lip off. So it'll be pretty fucking solid. So yeah, I might have a go at that, and then I think a Chinese is beckoning. So this is going to be a real bits of video, with not a lot happening. So for all I've done for the last Christ knows how many hours is waffle, without showing you anything that I've actually done. But it's just been finger sanding with a grinder, using a wire wheel, and just attacking paint. But it's, God, it's a nightmare. And the trouble with this stuff is, if you attack it with a wire wheel, it kind of tends to melt a bit and then just flings itself everywhere and then re-sticks to the panel. It's a proper ball ache. And it's the same with this red shit that they used. It stays kind of gloopy, look at that. But at the same time, trying to get it off, you wire wheel it, it just turns into a mess and goes everywhere. And there's so much cleaning up still to do. I have found where, so this car, before I bought it, had a bang in this corner and the front offside corner. I think he lost it in the ice or some shit. And I've actually found this panel has split. That's slightly out of shape, the rear lamp panel, slightly out of shape, and this panel has a split in it. And the whole thing's moved. Hang on. Yeah, there you go. It's got a crease in it, a tiny bit of rust there, is what it is, but the folded over lip there, that one particularly, twatted right in. So the fact that the quarter wing clearly hasn't been off, but still looked relatively alright, I think was a bit of a bonus. You know, but anyway, I've managed to find, courtesy of Luke Todd, top man. Anyone in BX circles will know Luke, he's such a lovely guy. And Phil at Bullwinkle's Garage, who's also top dude, much respect to him. A genuine Citroen near side quarter wing. So I've got one of those coming, which I should be collecting on Saturday. from the meet thing, the 40th anniversary BX thing, which obviously this won't be attending. I might take a few of the original parts just to whatever. Anyway, but yeah, so I've got a quarter wing coming this side. All I need to do now is find, ideally, a quarter wing for the other side, because the quarter wing that I took off the car, not only have I damaged it in taking it off, but also it is full of corrosion everywhere, and I'd quite like to replace it. There's too many other people in other buildings using the power at the moment to kind of make it worthwhile doing this, but at the same time I'm kind of keen to try and button it up. I don't think I'm going to fit the subframe bracket thing, because although I've put 2 holes in the chassis leg where I think they need to be, I can't quite hold up my jig in the holes on the other side, and of course I can't actually bolt it to that because it's kind of hanging off, and see where we go in this side. So I'm going to have to wait until someone else is here to hold one side of it whilst I check the other. I'm fairly confident that I've got the holes in the right place, relatively, but I don't really want to sort of weld this thing in to then discover that actually I'm wrong. Because, you know, if I'm that wrong, I can fill the holes in the chassis leg and, you know, make new ones. Well, I've got to finish that spot weld, haven't I? Well, in fact, I've got to finish a lot of it. The welding is, yeah, not ideal. But anyway, yeah, it's a bit harder if you fuck this up, because obviously you're limited with the amount of space you've got to wiggle the bush in that plate. So I'd rather get that right, so that will have to wait for another day, which is all quite depressing. This is taking far too long. Hey, but that's life, isn't it?